don't know, I'm having that waiting thing on the screen. I don't know why. Okay. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship me, impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental, I don't know, this waiting is coming in that, are considered by me to be most perfect. Hare Krishna, Sukamala Mataji.
Yeah, text 3 and 4. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Text 5. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Kiran?
But though text 6 7, but those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Prata, for them I am swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
One more.
Oh,
One more.
if Okay,
Text 8.
text 8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. Anshika.
Okay. Text 9. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without devotion, then follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Text 10. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Text 11. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. Text 12. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind.
Text 13 and 14. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, who is always satisfied, self controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Text 15. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear, anxiety, is very dear to me. Hare Krishna. Who comes after you, Archana?
Krishna.
Simi Mataji.
Is it
Simi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 17.
16.
16? Oh, sorry. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activity, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Who comes after Simi Mataji?
Is it me, Mataji?
Yes.
I think Vasant Mataji.
Okay. Okay. Text 18 and 19. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Text 20. Those who follow the imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna Mata.
And what verse are we doing today?
11.
Mataji,
11. Yes. Was somebody saying something?
yes, I was also asking 5. I think I couldn't understand that.
Number 5. Okay. So
No, 11.
11. Yeah.
12,
Yeah,
11.
she asked 11 and then.
Right. So we'll do 11. We'll read through 11 and then we'll open up for questions, discussions, etc., etc., etc. Okay. All right. Whose turn is it to read? Meera Mataji?
Mataji.
Is it Meera? Meera is still with us or no? Yes.
Yeah, it's Meera Mataji.
Can you hear me?
And now, yes.
Okay. Athetat api asakto si kartum mad yogam asritha sarva karma phal tyagam tatha kuru ya yatatmavan. Atha, even though itat this api also asakt, unable, asi you are kartam to perform, mat unto me yogam in devotional service, asrit taking refuge, sarva karma of all activities, phala of the results, tyagam renunciation, tat then, kuru do, yatta atma one self-situated.
Haribol. So
Hari.
everybody got a chance to read? Who is in a condition to read got a chance to read?
You all got chance.
Yes.
Anybody left out?
Oh.
All right. So we'll start the cycle again with going back to Vindhyavali Mataji. Okay, Mataji, just give us just the translation.
Mataji, can you scroll it a little bit? I don't know. I mind this waiting is not going.
Okay.
That's the thing is there. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay, translation. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Hare Krishna.
Should I read the purport? Shraddha
Yes,
Mataji?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. It it may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day, and there is special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Kiran, you can read.
Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activity, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service. Okay, so yeah, where was I? Okay, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country, etc., may be accepted, so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, we find it is stated, Yatha parvatira bhuvatanam. If one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Krishna, he will come gradually to understand that Krishna is the supreme cause by the sacrificial method.
Hari bol. Okay, so now we come to the favorite part of our session here.
Reflections.
Reflections. Okay. And today is a house full here. Okay. So, thoughts that came to mind, and while you are thinking and recollecting your thoughts, I'd like to welcome Dilip Patel Prabhu, his lovely wife, Hemlata Mataji, Neelam Sharma Mataji, Raunak Chaudhary Prabhu, I know has a new name now, Puni Sharma Kumar Mataji, Vidyavalu Mataji. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook here today. And of course, all you lovely devotees here on Zoom. And I think Pashana Mataji had a reflection. Is that right?
Yes, Mataji, I want to. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandat Pranam, Mataji. Mataji, I just wanted to say that giving up all the results of your work, it is difficult because we human beings in this gross body always think that I am the doer. But once you start thinking that I am not the doer, I cannot even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Lord, then who am I? I'm nobody to do anything. Once this realization comes to the mind, one feels that I'm not the doer, he's the doer. So whatever is the result is his result. This gives a lot of satisfaction, Mataji, and peace of mind that I'm not the doer. I haven't done anything.
Then who is the doer?
He is the doer, the Lord. I'm just a madhyam. I'm just a source. He has given me the senses to work for him. And he only directs me.
Right.
So I'm now
I
feel that
when work gets done, who does the work? Good, you're on the right path. Dig a little bit deeper. So when the work gets done, like you pick up a glass or you pick up this pen, right? How is the work getting done?
I'm doing
it is the senses are given by him.
senses.
I'm using them to do that work. I'm fulfilling his direction. And that is how the work is done.
He did not direct you to pick up the pen.
Mataji, Super Soul is giving
because
the
he
permission.
wants me.
Super Soul is giving the permission. Okay, that's good.
Something wrong. And if I'm doing something wrong unknowingly,
yes,
then in that case, who is responsible?
Yeah.
Like if you unknowingly murder somebody, who's responsible?
Yeah, meaning I cannot put it like, okay, God was the one who guided me to do this or pushed me in that direction. I cannot put the blame on God. So see this is where I get confused what to do in that situation when unknowingly or knowingly I did something that I was not supposed to be doing.
Right. And if you have done something unknowingly, right? If you go into the deeper meanings of unknowingly, means that you did not know.
Yeah.
You can't correct it also. Because if you were knowing it, then you could have corrected yourself. Right?
Yes.
Right?
And sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
And if you're unknowingly doing it, then there is no way that you can correct it, right? Sometimes we also talk about, on the other good side of it, we talk about, he got Agyat Sukriti. Why did somebody suddenly take to devotional service? He had some Agyat Sukriti. Yeah, but tell me, what was the Agyat Sukriti? It is Agyat. I don't know.
I don't know.
Here
I
also,
don't know is the best word.
when you do such, Agyat basically means that we do not know what was it that caused that particular person to suddenly spring to devotional service. It could be something as simple as that he was driving on the road and he gave way to somebody else. In that car there was a sannyasi, like that. So there are so many ways that you can do Agyat Sukriti without you knowing it. Similarly, on the other extreme end of the spectrum also, that you could be committing things without us our knowing it, right? But if we don't know, so here in the material world, when you say that I did not know, then they will come back and tell you ignorance of the law is not an excuse, right? In the material world, that's how it happens. Well, I did not know. I just came from India. But everybody drives on the left-hand side. So I was driving on the left-hand side, right? And I bashed my car into somebody. They'll say, no, you should have known the rules of the land, right? But on the transcendental plane, things are different. The way these things are measured, the way things are, punishment is awarded, they always look at the intention. What was the intention of the person who was doing it, right? If they did not know that they were doing it, then, there might be zero punishment or might be a little bit of punishment, because sometimes not knowing it and you are in a position where you're supposed to know it is also of a certain consequence like that. Okay. So going back to the point where Vaishana Mataji was saying that there is a lot of action that is done and we should give it to the Lord, right? And we should give it to the Lord. And so I was asking, like, who does the work? And even before that, we have to ask the question, why is work done? Why do we do some work? Right?
Because we are in the material world.
Mataji, for his pleasure. For
Desires.
his pleasure, I do the work.
Okay, 10 years ago when you were working, were you doing it for Krishna's pleasure?
Their family.
All the time. Mataji, now I feel that whatever work I do is to satisfy him.
Very good. Now, does everybody in this world do work to satisfy Krishna?
No.
Okay, so now let's go back and answer the question again. Why is work done?
Desires.
Our own material
Sense
desires.
gratification.
Desires, right? It is because of the desire. Okay. So when some action gets done in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, they talk about factors that lead to that action. Okay. So the first factor is the soul. There is a desire from the soul. The soul desires. I want to pick this up. I want to do this. I want to do that. But Varshana Mataji's desire is to serve the Lord, but still there is a desire there, right?
Yes,
That
Mataji.
desire is there. So she desires, the soul desires. Now to execute that desire in this material world, you need a body, right? So the second factor is that you need to have a body. Then you need to have the senses, right? Body without the soul is useless. Body without the senses is also useless. You can put a soul in the body, but you don't cut off the hands. What will the body do? Right? So you need the body, you need the senses, you need the soul. The soul is desiring and the body is there, the hand is there, they want to pick the pen. But if you don't pick the pen, then the pen won't get picked up just by itself, just because you desired it, right? So that action also has got to be done. So that's the fourth factor in an action being performed. And the fifth factor, as Sutapa Mataji pointed out, was that the super soul gives you permission from inside to do it. Without his permission, who said, not a blade of grass does not move? I think Varshana said that.
Varshana Mataji.
That is the fifth factor. You can do everything, to make a blade of grass move, but it will not move if you don't want it to move. If the Supreme Lord does not desire. And in this holy occasion of, Govardhan Puja, which we had just recently, see how much Indra desired to drench all the Brajavasis because they had stopped giving him oblations, right? And so he sent what kind of clouds? He sent the worst kind of clouds. Yeah, right? Samyantaka clouds are used when there is devastation for pralaya. At that time, that kind of clouds are utilized, but he sent those clouds, right? But he wanted to drench all of them. He wanted all of them to just, be flooded. And actually he wanted all of them to die first, and then Nanda Maharaj to die in the end. So that first he will have mental anguish of seeing all his family dying, and then he will himself go through the pain of dying, right? So he was that cruel, and he was behaving like that. But did he succeed? No, because
No.
it was not Krishna's desire. And Krishna picked up the Govardhan hill and left it on his pinky finger. So you cannot do things without the sanction of the Lord. Having said that, the Lord is there in your heart as the super soul. He is observing you and he's giving you permission. So in most of the cases, especially in those who are materialistically oriented, who are there in this world and who do any activities to satisfy their own senses, right? So for them, he's just observing. He's saying, okay, he wants to eat a laddu, he wants to eat a gulab jamun, he wants to eat meat, whatever, he'll just give them permission. Because up and until your desires are not fulfilled, you will not turn to Krishna. It's a fact. Or unless a pure devotee blesses you and all your lower desires just, vanquish from your mind, like that. So going back to the question that, when we do things unknowingly, right? So even if you don't do things unknowingly, see, there are still so many factors which are involved in you doing it. The body was involved, your senses were involved, and there would be some subtle desire to do it. And then it happens. Sometimes we say that, I do not know what happened, but words came out of my mouth. Now, words do not come out of your mouth like
It
that,
happens.
right?
It
There's something,
happens.
yeah, it happens, right? So there is something, I did not want to say that, but I said it. So it happens because somewhere in the subtle, somewhere in the subconscious, there is this desire that somebody is very rude to me, and like suppose somebody has got a bad boss and shouts at the subordinate all the time, and then one day the subordinate says, I do not know what happened, the words just came out of my mouth and I told him shut up. Like that, and then of course you're fired. So then they are like, I do not know what happened. No, it's not like that you did not know what happened. It's that you had that subtle desire that one day I'm going to give it back. So there's always this material world is situated in desire. But Krishna is very merciful. He knows that. Actually, he always looks for the intention. And here's the beautiful thing about Krishna is that when he sees an action, then he look at the intention. And now, if the intention is good and the action is wrong, then what he will do, he will focus on the intention. For example, when he went to the house of Vidura, Varshana Mataji, what did he do there? When Krishna came to Vidura's home, what did Vidura do?
When Vidura went to Duryodhana's house,
No, Krishna went to Vidura's house.
Krishna went to Duryodhana's house. When Krishna went to
Vidura's house.
Vidura's house.
Yeah. Mataji, he sat down with him, and you see, he offered him the bhoga, and he had it very peacefully with him. And whereas the opulent
Okay. Hold on. We're not going to Duryodhana. No, we are not going to Duryodhana. We are focusing on Vidura. Now, and somebody else would like to elaborate on what Vidura did.
He gave the peels to Krishna to eat and threw away the banana.
Banana. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so ecstatic. He was so happy that Krishna had come to visit his house that he took the banana and, and he started peeling it and gave the peels to Krishna. And what did Krishna do?
And
he ate it.
He ate it.
He took.
Right? So this is what Krishna does, that when he get the intention, right? Now look at Krishna's mercy on the other extreme end. What did Krishna do? Well, yes, Putna did make sounds like that. But other than
mind is waiting, is not going.
Yeah. So what did Putna do?
She came like mother, and she tried
came like a mother, right? And she tried to breastfeed Krishna.
To feed.
Yes.
Okay. What was the intention?
To kill him.
Intention was
to kill him.
To kill him. Yes. Sukomal Radhe said to kill him, and she's right. Right? So she came with a bad intention to kill.
Yeah.
And Archana doesn't like
But still he was kind.
right? But the action was good. Action was like
I'll
that.
turn it off and then
Yes.
I'll come
So
back.
what was the end result? What did Krishna do? Aho
She,
bhaktiyam
he
sanakalakutam. What did he do? Krishna promoted her to the level of
Mataji, he promoted her to, yes, as a mother, he
where is
sent
she?
her to the,
Where is
his,
she? Yes,
yeah,
where is she?
Golok
Yeah.
Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Golak Vrindavan.
Vrindavan. See, so Krishna is like that. Krishna is like that. You know, it's entirely his mercy.
That's right. He's very merciful,
But
very merciful.
Shraddha Mataji, even in this verse where he says that a lot of devotees who don't have the support of their family and who have a lot of blockages and impediments, he's so merciful that he tells them that do this or do this or do this. He's giving so many options and then uh, give it to him so that you don't have to feel that you have to go to the temple if you have a problem at home with someone or anything. He's giving us so many choices.
Exactly. That is his mercy.
Yeah.
But Mataji, I have a question. If we don't go to temple or associate with devotees or do bhakti or read, we cannot give up our results. It's so difficult. Like we have to keep on reminding ourselves that we have to, and that comes by associating, by looking at the devotees, and when they do, we feel like okay, we have to do this.
Good
So
point.
giving,
Good point. Now, when was the last time you went to a temple? And how many times did you go to a temple in the last 9 months?
no, but I'm associating with devotees.
Very good.
We are associating here. This is a temple, right? When we are associating.
Matchitta madgata prana bodhayantas parasparam kathayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Right? Because of the Tushyanti and the Ramanti, Varshana Mataji joins us from India. Right? Sutaba will join us from New York. It's dead in the night right now for them. Because it's Tushyanti Charamanti Cha. Why? It's because we are discussing Krishna's Katha. That draws the soul because soul is wired to do devotional service to the Lord. Right? Having said that, yes, Garima, it's very important to have devotee association. Now, so this fourth level that Krishna is talking about, that if you can do this, then do this. If you can't do that, then do that. So 4 verses. When you come to the fourth one, there is saying that if you cannot do this, now there could be situations in your life where you might not be able to come to the temple to do some work. Now let's take some examples of why would you think, or give me some examples of why one would not be able to come to the temple.
Because it's too far.
It's too far. Very good.
It could be sick or
Hare Krishna.
One could be
Their
sick.
health reasons.
Your health reasons.
Other family members do not approve.
Other family
Yes,
not approve.
yes, Mataji. In my case, that used to happen, and even now it happens.
We are broadcasting on Facebook. And
Let
then,
it be, Mataji. This is the truth.
oh God, Vajra Mataji is not happy today. Okay, so all right. Now that's
Struggling here, Mataji.
yeah. Vindhyavali Mataji, put on mute, please. Put your mute.
No, I don't know. I'm having hard time here.
What you can do
Okay,
is,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. I'm gone.
You can leave the call and join again. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Some other times it goes, things go away like that.
I did. I'm trying that. That's
Okay.
why it's not going.
Okay, let's get to
Anyway, thank you very much,
it.
Mataji.
I have one question.
Yeah.
We said about super soul, telling us, okay, we can do this. But what about free will now?
Super Bowl is just saying, yes, I will make it and I will enable it for you. Right? And the only place where Super Soul will meddle, so 99% of the time, Super Soul, you demand and he supplies. He's your
Not doing
supply,
anything.
right? The only time and for the only people that Super Soul will interfere is, what type of people are those for whom he will interfere and not let you do something wrong?
Devotees.
Surrendered.
Right? Devotees. And when the devotee is already surrendered, so he doesn't even talk about free will. It's like, Krishna, you tell me whatever you want me to do, I'll just do it for you. Right?
So, Mataji, can we surrender our free will to Krishna?
Absolutely, that's what we should do. Yes, that is what we should do. And as soon as we surrender our will to Krishna, life changes completely. It completely changes when you say that, Krishna, you tell me what I'm supposed to do. And then from within, he will speak you, he will guide you. Tesham eva anukampartam aham ajnana jamtama nashasham atma bhavaso jnana deepena bhashvata. So he says, Tesham eva anukampa, as a special mercy to people, I will destroy the darkness. From within their heart, I will show them the shining light of knowledge. He will do that. All that we have to do is to do surrender. And that surrender has got to be a sweet surrender. A surrender should not be that, Krishna, I realize you are very powerful, so it's better I surrender to you. Because if we surrender in that mood, that resentment will still be there, that, I had to surrender because there was somebody very powerful and able to twist my arms, and that is why I surrendered, right? On the other hand, we are surrendering to them because we love him, right? So that kind of a surrender is known as sweet surrender. And when that surrender is there, right? That surrender is there, no matter what Krishna does, the devotee will accept it. On the other hand, if you surrendered Krishna for protection, and if you don't get protection, then the devotee will complain. I surrendered to you. You're supposed to take care of me. You didn't take care of me, right? But in the Shikshastakam, the last verse of Shikshastakam, what does it say? Whether you manifest yourself, you don't manifest yourself, you go and love others, you don't love me, I will still continue to be your devotee. That is sweet surrender. It's a very high level thing because our ego and our controlling nature keeps on coming in between and prevents us from doing anything worthwhile.
It's comforting to know, to hear this, Mataji, because I was feeling very disturbed that my free will is messing things up. Like
yes, it is our free will that messes things up a lot, right? So then again, going back to the very interesting question that Mataji asked us, and I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on that, Kiran, is that it says that it's very difficult to understand the intricacies of karma, right? And the very fact that we are here in this material body, we will end up doing something or the other which is not right, right? So there's karma, there's vikarma, right? And akarma. So karma is when you're doing things to satisfy yourself. Vikarma is when you're doing things which are totally against the injunctions of the Shastras. And akarma is when you give up the results of your work to Krishna. And the third type is good because then you don't incur the reactions of that karma. In all other cases, you will incur the reactions, even if you do it unknowingly sometimes. For example, in the story of Vidura, right? In the story of Vidura, we have this very nice story, right? That why was he punished? He was punished and he became, Vidura is actually Yamraj, right? So Yamraj had once given a punishment to a rishi, to a sage. And what was being done to that sage was that he was being poked by something sharp on his body. And so he just came and he said, no, why are you doing this to me? I have led a very good life. Why am I being given this punishment? So then the Yamdutas, he said, I want to talk to your boss. So they take him to Yamraj. And so Yamraj is there. And so he explains to the sage that, when you were a very small boy, you took a straw, a jhadun ki seek, right? And with that, you started poking some ants. And because of that, now you're suffering. It's a reaction to that karma. So you see, a small child might do things unknowingly, apparently, but the desire was still inside the child's heart to give trouble to the
Something
so,
is going on mute.
So, yeah, so then the sage gets angry and he says, no, that you should not have done. You should have considered the fact that a small child is doing it. And so he curses him and says that you will be born in the family of a Shudra. And that's when Yamraj comes as Vidura, right, in Mahabharata. With that. So there are consequences to that. And so, for example, if somebody is making, is working in a factory, okay, and you are making boxes, plastic boxes or some styrofoam boxes. So you're a very nice person, you pray to the Lord every day, you go there, you don't eat meat, you don't do anything, you just make those styrofoam plates or containers. Now, if that styrofoam container is used to transport meat from one place to another place, then you also get affected by the karma because you were indirectly responsible for the meat being transported. So when people eat meat, all the people who are responsible and get the consequences of doing that start from the one who sold the cow to the person who butchered it to the person who packed it to the person who sold it to the person who cooked it to the person everything restaurant served it and like that. So these intricacies of karma are very very difficult to understand, and we might make offenses all the time. I mean, I might think I'm a vegetarian. I cut ladyfinger, okra, and I eat it. But between the two cuts, there could be an insect inside it, and I eat it, right? So we don't. That's why Prabhupada says that don't pride yourself on being a vegetarian. None of us are vegetarians, right? There are so many insects, etc., that sometimes go into our mouth through water and things like that. So that is why, and even when we are doing deity worship at home, especially, right, doing like that, we make so many offenses. So many offenses we make, and so to take care of all those, we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because Yasta Indra Gopam Atavendra Aho Sakarma Karmani Nirdahati. So it says that right from the tiny insect, from Brahma Samhita, the tiny insect known as Indragopa, all the way up to Indra, who's the king of the heavens, everybody is subjected to the reactions of their karma. But he says, Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam. So he says that only through devotional service is this whole collection of karma completely destroyed, burned to ashes. Like if you want to remove the traces of anything, you have to burn them, right? You see how after harvesting a particular field, the when they're about to sow another crop, they will set fire to the field. And the reason for doing that is so that the roots also get burnt away. So that's what it is. Karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So through devotional service is the only guarantee. So instead of worrying about that, oh, I might do this, oh, I might do that. The best thing to, and knowing that it's outside of my control. I can't look at every microbe in my water and separate it from the water that I drink, right? And it's a law of the land, those who are ahastani cha hastani, apadani chatuspadam, falguni tatra mahatam, jivo jivasya jivanam. So it says that this is those who don't have hands, they become victim to those who have hands. Those who have 2 feet get eaten by those who have 4 feet, right? And it's a law of the land that those who are strong, they control the weak. Jivo jivasya jivanam, one person is the food for another. This is how gory this material world is. The strong eat the weak. It's a known fact. So there's no way that we can avoid it except for taking full surrender of the Lord. Only He can absolve us from everything that we have done. And so that is, and when you do it in a sweet way, knowing that all I have to do is loving devotional service to the Lord, I will get absolved by that, whatever I'm doing like that. However, having said that, we should not just become foolproof and say that, all right, fine, I'm surrendered and I chant and I do that, so I'm allowed to do as much of nonsense as I'm allowed to do that. No. Again, Krishna is going to look at the intention. And when you're doing loving devotional service to the Lord, there is actually jnana karma dhyanavit, anya avilashita shunyam. It is devoid of any desires for yourself. Then you will just love Krishna for Him being Krishna, just as we love our kids, right? That's because they are kids. They might not be the best kid in the world, right? But we love them because they are our kids, right? So similarly, we love Krishna for who he is, and for the love that He gives us, we reciprocate His love by loving Him in return, like that. Then that is really sweet surrender, willing to take anything that He gives to you, and then all these other things will just get taken care of. So Krishnam Sharanam Gacchami, go to the shelter of Krishna, like that. Well, we have a few more minutes, 7 minutes to be precise. Any more questions? Any more reflections that you want?
Mataji, we can talk. I mean, we can talk about this later, like in our next class. But I was looking at the verse 3 and 4 and 5. So it's like it's seeming to me contradictory somehow.
Okay. And so where is the contradiction? Where do you find the
like you'll have to show
okay.
the verse.
Ye to aksharam manirdesham avyaktam parupasate sarvatra gam achintyam cha kutastham achalam dhruvam. I'm bringing it up. Sanniyamyendriyagramam sarvasya sadbuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. Then fifth is favorite, my favorite. Klesho adhiktaras tesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehivadbhiravapsasi. Okay, so 3 and 4. All right, here coming up. Let us know. Sri Mataji.
So, it says worship the unmanifested.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that which lies beyond the perception of senses, the all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By
Mm-hmm.
controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such person engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what I'm understanding is that, you know, even to the impersonal conception,
Mm-hmm.
we can still achieve Krishna.
Yes.
That's what I'm understanding.
How, okay, and how and what does that mean, right? Precisely what does it mean, that what does it mean that they are going to achieve Krishna? Okay, so you take it from two perspectives, look at it from two perspectives. One is from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verse number 11. Vadanti tat tattvidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti parmatmeti bhagwan iti shabdate. So there they are describing the absolute truth. And they are saying that the absolute truth can be realized in three ways: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, and Bhagwan. Okay? Bhagwan, we know Krishna Bhagwan, like that. Personality, standing in front of you, flute in hand, cow behind him, Radharani next to him, like that, right? So it's a personality of God. Brahmeti, Bhagwan. And then before that is Paramatma. Paramatma, we understand, is the Lord in our heart. Okay, so that is Vishnu, four-handed form, Shank, Chakra, Gada, like that. Okay, so Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, and then so Brahma. What is a Brahma? What is the first way in which you can realize him or gain access to him or achieve him or reach him is Brahman, and which is the effulgence of the Lord. Okay, so just as the sun and sunshine, there's no difference between sun and sunshine, right? So to speak, because sunshine comes from the sun, is as much a part of the sun. Similarly, the light coming out of Krishna is also Krishna. So those who want, and light doesn't have a shape, right? Like you can't see fruit in the light, right? So light is one of the ways in which a person can just focus on and say that, okay, there is Lord, there is a supreme Lord, there's some superior power, superior intelligence, and it doesn't have a shape, it's just a light. And so they will achieve Brahma Jyoti, they will get that, right? So that is one way that you can interpret this statement, that period. Now, that might, feel that, oh, this guy got cheated. He just did not know that Krishna had a form, which is much, much better than just focusing on his effulgence. And so reality, what happens is that because the soul is wired to be a devotee of the Lord, of Lord Krishna, so when the soul goes and merges into the light, right, merges into the light, it stays there and it's very happy. And the happiness is coming from because it has lost its material body, which always gives us grief, right? So when it sees that there is a loss of this grief, this constant pain in my knees, constant haggling, fear of death, fear of losing job, and so on and so forth. So when it realizes that, oh, all these things are completely gone, I'm not the body, I'm just the soul, and here is this nice light around me, which is coming from Krishna, so it's soothing. So it feels that it is happy. But that happiness is incomplete because the real happiness that the soul will get is from serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the soul is hankering for happiness, 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 doesn't get happiness. And then it realizes that, oh, I know a place where people get happiness, and that is down below in the material world, the so called happiness. So it'll, after some time, it'll drop down and come back again to this material world. And because it was wired to think that that the Lord is impersonal, it can go that route, again climb up to, to the Brahman effulgence and again fall down. So you can keep on going Uparya Ada. You can go up and you can come down. You can go up and you can come down like a Ferris wheel. Same thing you're doing, right? But if such a person gets the mercy of a devotee like Srila Prabhupada, and he happens to read the Bhagavad Gita that Srila Prabhupada has translated, then that person will, wake up, come to his senses, start pursuing Bhakti Yoga, and this time he will go back to Godhead, to Lord Krishna. So then he's saying that that person will at last achieve me, right? So we have to also focus on the fact that he's talking about last, last. What is the meaning of at last? When is that last happening, right? So this last can happen in so many ways. Okay? Either you just hang there as a soul, or you come down, get the mercy of a devotee. And that is why it's so important for us to spread Krishna consciousness to the soul. Some of them don't know. Some of them feel it's a very elegant thing to do. It's a very elegant concept, yeah. Because I think that this body is the cause of all the miseries. So my conception of God should be that he should not have this body, because anything to do with body gives me grief, right? Like that. So they think that that's the best thing to do, but they are misguided, or they are shortchanged into just being able to reach the Brahman effulgence of the Lord.
So the shlok, the verse 5 is, that is what it is saying, that to
Yes.
reach, it is a difficult process.
Yes. And why? Klesho adhiktaraste avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadhyavapati. So it's saying that for a person who has got a body, it's very difficult for a person who has got a body to meditate on something which doesn't have a body, right? So something that doesn't have a body. Like, for example, let us do this exercise for 2 minutes, right? Or 1 minute. We all of you just close your eyes. Okay? And then take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And now stop your breath. And now try to think of God who has no features, no eyes, no hands, no legs, no feet, no clothes, no flute, no teeth, no glasses, no helmet, no jewelry. Think of Krishna. Okay. Now you can take a deep breath and slowly open your eyes. So what did you see?
Mataji, if you cannot say, think about the form, so there is nothing. It's total darkness.
Right. And
So some Krishna's like feature is coming in front of the eyes.
some Krishna features still came, right?
Yeah.
Some features
Yes.
still come, right? Yeah.
Yes, some features come in front of the eyes because we
But-
have already meditated
yeah.
on Krishna's features.
Yeah.
So it came, and it was disturbing actually when I said that I should not think of any form. No, it was disturbing.
Disturbing.
Mm.
Yeah, for the bhaktas, it's very disturbing. And for the normal, the neutrals who are trying to meditate, it's very difficult to say you meditate on nothing. We need an object to meditate
Yeah.
on, because the
Yes.
mind has to focus. The mind has to focus on something. And because we are so used to seeing forms all around us, right? Right? We have a form, our children
Yes.
have a form, a car has a form, a house has a form, utensils have a form, vegetables have a form, fruits have a form, ice cream has the best form, like that, you see? So there's always a form associated in our lives. So try to say that, okay, now I'm going to concentrate on something that doesn't have a form. Your senses need engagement. So your eyes need to see something. Your mind needs to. What is a mind? Mind is nothing but what is mind full of? It's full of images that you have gathered through your senses, through all your millions of life. They're all stored in that mind database. Like that. Okay, so I will take your leave with a heavy heart. It was a nice, lively discussion and new people joining us. That's fantastic. And of course, we had so many people joining us here on Facebook. And the last to join us is Dani Hill. Mataji, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, thank you so much for all of you for joining us today. And tomorrow we'll meet again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we will do Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Vanchakalpatarubhyasya
Tarubiksha kripa sindhubhya
Patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hari Hari
Thank you, Shraddha
Om.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Thank
Mataji.
you so much. Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank
Dandavat
you.
pranam.
Dandavat pranam. All righty.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
They are joined us.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Meera.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sukhama Radhe. And so the next team is going to join us. So I'm going to stop broadcasting this on the live stream. Thank you so much. And I'm going to stop the recording.